Jaxson Dart has arguably had the best preseason across the entire NFL. But is he really what all he's hyped up to be? Let's dive into his Week 3 preseason film against the New England Patriots and see if Jaxson Dart really is who we think he is, or he's just getting lucky because it's the preseason. Okay, let's jump right in the film for Jaxson Dart's Week 3 preseason matchup versus the Patriots. I'm going to let every play run through, and then after I let the plays run through, we're going to go back and break them down. Has a lot of time in the pocket here, finds the open man, and makes a huge play here on first down. Okay, let's go back and break this play down though. To start, what I want you to realize is what route gets open here and why I think as a coach, you wouldn't really be happy with this play, but at the same time you may be. And there's actually a very important reason for that. So what I want you to focus on here is Gunnar Olszewski, right? He has what we call a whip or a zig route, okay? And what this ultimately does is it fries man coverage because they're playing inside leverage. They're expecting you to go inside and you're cutting it back outside very, very quickly. But it can also get open really well versus zone coverage if this player is good at finding the open space in the field and sitting in it. And that's ultimately what you're going to see happen here. Let's look at why I would say as a coach you wouldn't be happy. So what you notice right here, he's wide open, right? Jaxson Dart should either pull the trigger on this out right here. I wouldn't want him pulling the trigger on this backside dig, right? Because obviously you've got this safety who's going to come down and make a play on the ball. So I'd like him to get through his progressions quicker, see this, get to it, make the play, right? But Jaxson is worried about trying to get Hyatt to go down the field because he sees all this open space here that he doesn't see this side of the field. And what Dart ultimately does here is he sees all this open space to run through, and he goes to run through it. He finally realizes that Olszewski's been sitting here wide open the whole time, makes the play on the ball. Great job by Olszewski, just continuing to get down the field to help make an explosive play here. Decent play by Dart, but you'd like him to find it when it's open because we've got easy matchups here. When he finally gets into the game, which I believe will be next season, I think it's Russ's job for the entirety of this year. You'd like him to see those plays and make them on time, right? Now we're going to let this play run through and then we're going to break it down. Here, we're going to have Dart roll out. Definitely could be a better ball there by Dart. We're going to let it play from the tight view here, the end zone view. Yeah, definitely just not a perfect ball, but I think there's something good that we can take away from this, right? Let's let it run through one more time. Okay, look at Dart here. Is anything open? Not at all, right? This safety's taking away this. He's blanketed very well. Now you could maybe throw this up since he has his back to you, but that's a risky play to do here on first down. These guys are both blanketed, so what you're going to see Dart do is escape the pocket, right? He used that athleticism he has, and look when he's throwing this, right? His guy still hasn't even cut, which is why it's a little bit confusing to me that he throws it so far out of bounds unless he was just trying to guarantee that even if his guy didn't make the cut he expected him to, it wouldn't be a pick. But you see Dart lets this ball go, and it's just right past the hands of his receiver. But great ball, great anticipation to know, hey, this is my open space. Let me fit it there, right? And who knows, maybe if he does leave it inside here, this guy doesn't break to the sideline and it ends up being a pick right here, right? So still a decent heads up play by Dart. Now, a vet like Russ puts a better ball on him there, but love the idea here from Dart. Let's get to the next play. Okay, here we're going to have the touchdown. What I want you to realize here is they're putting Scatterbo in motion for a very specific reason. Motion helps you identify whether it's man or zone coverage. They're going to put him in motion, realize it's man coverage. And this guy's like, oh crap, they know. And because of this, he's actually going to point it off to his teammate. His teammate's like, okay, I got him. I'm manned up on him. So that lets Dart know, hey, I've got man coverage. I've got a tight end on a corner. Now, who's going to win that rep in the end zone? Usually an athletic tight end like Greg Dulcich is going to be able to win it. But great job here by Dart, realizing this man coverage. You would have loved to see him maybe look this off a little more, right? Pretend like you're reading this side of the field. And the reason I say that, when you're playing against an elite safety in the NFL, he's going to look at your eyes and he's going to go, oh, it's a one-on-one over here. Let me get on this side of the field, right? But because this guy's just kind of your average safety trying to earn a spot here during the preseason, that's not going to happen, right? So Dart just eyes it down the whole time. Doesn't give him the best ball in the world, puts it a little bit behind him, but trusting, hey, this is man coverage. My tight end is able to lean his body into the defender and get open because of how much bigger he is and still a great athlete. So good job reading the defense there. I love some of these play calls and these situations Brian Dable has put Jaxson Dart in week after week. So look at that anticipation. Just now making the cut, on the same page there. Like I said, a little bit behind him, but once again, great play. I'm going to let it run through one more time. Just great stuff there by Jaxson Dart. Okay, here you're going to see Hyatt go into motion. What that tells us is what type of coverage we're being ran against here, right? What does that look like? Man coverage, right? How do we know that? It's because when he went into motion, even though he wasn't followed, it was passed off to him, right? He said, you go down, you cover this tight end, I'll play the deep safety here, and let's man mark everybody across the board. And Dart realized that, and he realized Hyatt is an extremely fast receiver. And because of that, the DB is playing off, but he's also going to backpedal when he sees Hyatt sail the vertical, right? So great job here by Dart, getting it out with anticipation. Now we're going to let it play once again, then we're going to break it down. But before we do, I'm going to say, hey, we've got two deep safeties here. This corner's playing on the outside of this receiver. He's man aligned. This linebacker's playing on the inside, and this corner has a weird stance going on, which leads me to believe this is probably zone coverage. And I would be right? It's a weird zone coverage, it looks like, because you would think it's cover 2, but he's playing almost like they're playing quarters up the middle. It's a little confusing, but we're going to let that replay because I kind of interrupted it. Just great job by Dart here, right? Realizing he has a spacing concept, and the goal with this concept is to figure out who gets open. Now, this corner's reading his eyes and realizing, oh, he's getting it out there quick. You would like 30 to maybe backpedal this way a little bit before going out, and then he's maybe able to make a play on this ball here. So probably too early for Dart to be getting it out of his hands if you're playing an elite defense, because we're going to see this guy's reading your eyes. Olszewski's going to open up right there again, right? But good job getting the ball out of your hands, making plays. That's one thing I want to note about Jaxson Dart's performance so far in the preseason. Has he played incredible? Yes. Does he look like he's a starting caliber quarterback in this league? Yes. But don't get yourself too hyped up on a quarterback going up against vanilla looks that someone like me can read who's not an NFL quarterback. And he's also going up against no superstars on the defensive side of the ball, right? There are guys who can play, right? They're NFL caliber players, but in no way are these guys making the type of plays that are made on Sundays. So keep that in mind before you hype him up and say he's the next Eli Manning in New York. I think it's really, really good for Brian Dable to have this plan where he's going to sit him for the entirety of this year and then let Dart take over after that, right? Okay, here we're just going to have play from the shotgun. We're opening up. Man, that's a great ball. Let's look at it one more time. What are we reading here, right? We've got zone coverage. How do we know this? Well, it's because of the way that these corners were lined up on the line, right? He's playing off. His hips are not square with the receiver, right? They're pointed in, which leads me to believe that he has some type of deep zone. And that's exactly what happens here, right? And this is what we call a layered concept, or a layers concept, where you're going to have an underneath guy, and you're going to have a corner route, and you're going to have what looks like a go, and he's going to pull both this corner and this safety out of the play. He has to be disciplined because this tight end's right here, and then he's going to maybe bite down on this as well, right? And because he bites down, this is going to get wide open. Incredible throw with a guy hitting you. We have got to make this catch. But what I also want you to notice is simply Dart's ability here to navigate the pocket, right? I feel some pressure over here, but I don't have to look at it. I'm going to step to my left. I'm seeing this guy get open. I'm reading out these defenders. I see he goes flat-footed, and I'm getting it out of my hand. And like I said, this has to be caught. This has to be caught by Beau Collins every single time. He made this roster, but, man, you need more consistency on some of these plays for him. Great ball, though, by Dart, especially getting hit like that. Okay, once again, here we have a too-high shell, but it looks like it's man coverage because of the way the corners are aligned on all of our receivers, which tells us this is either cover 2 man or cover 1 robber. We have to look at what this safety does. Does he rotate down or does he stay high to tell us ultimately what's going to be open, right? Because if this guy goes down and plays a robber, then this guy has to float to the middle of the field and we may have our sidelines open, right? And that's what you're going to see happen here, right? He goes and then just trusting the speed of Jalen Hyatt, putting the ball on him. Now, does Jalen Hyatt have to catch this? Yes, there's no reason that ball should be going off your shoulder pad. But I will also say he beats this guy pretty easily. Dart's got to lead him more, right? I know that's a lot to ask, but that ball only traveled 49 yards. I know I'm saying only traveled 49 yards, but a guy like Russ throws that moon ball and it goes closer to 60. And Hyatt is able to run up underneath it, make the easy catch because it kind of just floats into your hands and you have a touchdown. But Jaxson Dart kind of underthrows it a little bit. Hyatt has to kind of fight to slow himself down so that he doesn't overrun the ball. And when that happens, he's kind of getting tackled in a sense and just doesn't track the ball the best, right? So that's just something he can improve on there. Love this play here at first, but then it quickly goes bad. So what do I like about it at first? Okay, first I like the concept, right? We're going to motion in Collins, help us understand what coverage they're in. Clearly they're a man, right? And when you understand they're a man, you're probably going to have this guy coming open across the field, or you might even have Collins on his backside if he can beat 35. But Dart gets pressured, he steps up through it, and we see this coverage is sticky, right? So what I would like to see Dart do, just keep getting out this pocket. Just keep running. It's man coverage down the field, right? So if you can escape this pocket, if you can get out, if you can beat these guys, you've got room to go. But you think you see something down here. Honestly, I don't know what he sees because there's clearly a safety right here, corner right here, corner right here, corner right here. Nothing's open. But he's going to throw and it ends up taking a sack when he could have kept evading the pocket. He could have either thrown it away or gotten a huge run down the field. Who really knows there? So, loved the concept. Loved it against that coverage. No one got open, unfortunately. Sometimes you just got to realize that other guys get paid too, right? And I love Dart's ability to step up, get away from the pressure, but just take off right there. I know you're looking to throw, but when nothing's open, you can't try to force something, realize it's not there, and then take an unnecessary sack, right? Because I believe that ended the drive there for him. Okay, let's jump into the next play. I'm going to let this one play through it for real this time. Okay, great job here by Dart. What I want to really focus on here is Dart's ability to realize, hey, this guy's open right here, and I can hit him before this window, but I also know if I just continue to let him come across the field, since this defensive lineman has committed a little too hard on the inside and not kept us contained, I can escape the pocket, have him blitz down on me, and I can just put a ball right here for Dulcich for a huge gain. Now, if we have a superstar or just a star in general at this linebacker position, he probably doesn't come and run at me as soon as the pocket opens up, right? He reads Dart's eyes, realizes he's waiting on a crosser, and then he fills in. And then we have a play that's kind of blown up a little bit, right? But he steps up. Dart makes him pay with a great ball there to Greg Dulcich. Once again, hate to see him cut. He played so well. Now we're going to be running empty right here. We're in the shotgun, so clearly this is either a quick concept or we're just saying, hey, read the field, make a play for us, right? And we see we've got two deep safeties. Looks like they're both backpedaling, which tells us it's probably cover 2 man or cover 2 zone, simply because they're not playing quarters, right? They're not lined up close to one another. They're playing halves of the field. Because it wasn't, this whole shot's going to get open right here. And this little slant right here is going to get open, right? And once again, Collins drops the football. All right, this just cannot happen. This guy is too talented. He made this roster, but he's got to hold on to footballs, right? It's not that difficult, man. Now here, I believe it's 3rd and long just simply because of the depth of the linebackers here. That tells me it's definitely zone coverage because you're not going to not line anyone up within 15 yards of this tight end here. So that's exactly what we have, right? Greg Dulcich picks up a few yards, but nothing special. Now we're going to go to the next play here. Let's look at it. Okay, play action, quick game. Good job there by Dart, getting the ball out of his hand on time. All right, that's what you like to see in an RPO game. Now, what I would like Hyatt to do is spin to the sidelines. I'd hope he'd feel a little bit better with this guy being on his inside here, but nothing wrong with what Dart did here. Great job running the RPO system that Brian Dable loves. Here, what are we reading? 5. All right, we're seeing what safety they're in based off 5. So he sees 5 go vertical, and that tells him, hey, that means my flat's going to be open because that means this is man coverage. All right. And then great ball to the flat. I mean, you'd like for him to lead it more outside. He leaves it a little bit inside, but running back's got to make this play, right? They weren't doing him many favors in this game, especially not Jalen Hyatt, who we're going to see once again here drop a deep ball. And this is what Dart is good at, right? Dart is really good at making these checks to verticals because that's all he did at Ole Miss, right? When he saw, hey, I've got press on the outside, that safety's not over there helping and cheating a little bit, I'm able to trust my arm and drop the ball in the bucket. That was what Dart was the best in this class at, and he's continuing to execute on that at the next level. I mean, there's no such thing as a better ball than that, right? Right in the hands. We just got to catch that. And we absolutely have to. There's no excuse for it. Jalen Hyatt's still on this roster. He has a lot of potential, he does, but if he can't hold on to the football, Greg Dulcich should still be on this roster if Jalen Hyatt continues to not be able to catch the football long term. Here we're going to have a concept that kind of gets blown up, but Dart does what Dart does best, escapes the pocket, and he also does what he does worst. Now, why do I want to point that out? Because Dart's biggest flaw at Ole Miss coming in the draft is that he never slides, right? But what's weird is he slows down. Obviously, you're not trying to get as many yards as possible because you're slowing yourself down. You're making it seem like you're going to give yourself up, and then you turn it on and try to make a move. Just run full speed to the sideline. You would have made it to the 35, and you could have gotten out of bounds and not gotten hit. But instead, you slow yourself down, try to make a juke, and you get popped from behind because you slowed down, and you fumble the football, and you get checked out of the game because your head hit the ground weird because you couldn't protect yourself. And then Jameis Winston comes in, and Jameis does what Jameis does, man. Big play here to Jalen Hyatt. Did absolute nothing else the rest of the game, but we love Jameis Winston. Great to see him make a play there. So, overall, what do I think about Jaxson Dart? Great player. Going to be really good in the NFL long term. He's got to learn how to get down when he's running. Either run full speed to the sideline or get down, right? You got to protect yourself. If you're the quarterback, Brian Dable is going to continue to stress that to him. Do I think Jaxson Dart should take over as a starter this year? No shot. These are vanilla looks in the preseason. Great play calling against these vanilla looks. You have a lot of depth on this Giants roster. A lot of people are really underestimating this team, but they won by a 60-plus point differential in the preseason. Tommy DeVito was cooking up the Patriots. This is a good roster overall. So he's beating up on worse opponents who are running vanilla looks, and I think that it's simply that. I think he's a good player who's going to be good, but he's going to be better the more time he has to sit and learn from Russell and Jameis, right? Russell takes the reins this year, leads them to the playoffs. They lose after one game or two maybe, and then Russ goes somewhere else, and Jaxson Dart takes over as the QB1 for the future of this franchise, and I love that for them. The Giants finally got their guy, it looks like. Thanks for watching. Let me know down below what you think about Jaxson Dart, and see you.